If we take that our city population is 9.5 million, and if we ignore the people below 7 years or 5 years who really can't walk on our streets, let's say there are 7.5 million people in the city. The 7.5 million people at various points of time in the day, whether it's to go to a bus stop or to go to a car and go to a particular meeting, are on the streets walking. But nothing about our planning is around this person. Everything is around the motorist. We want to widen the road to get more motorists in. It is impossible. You can widen the road all that you want, it will get clogged in another 5 years' time. It is a non-sustainable model in terms of going after this. So the DNA that we have to get is a hierarchy. Pedestrian first, cyclist non-motorized second, public transport third, and scooterist and cars last. They will get uniform lanes to travel, but they can't take every road that is available. Today pedestrians are getting what's left of the road. Pedestrians first need to get their space and the rest needs to be planned for the others. That's the tragedy. Our DNA system just doesn't have it. And that's the biggest problem by a long mile in Bangalore. When I say pedestrian is the most important customer, pedestrians need to cross at grade. Cars can go like this, cars can go below. But pedestrians need to cross at grade. But our tendency is we will do underpass and over a bridge which nobody uses. It's another project that is useless. Here just around this Sophia school, I have never seen a human being on that bridge. Even when the school closes. Exactly. The bridges are designed for advertising income and not in terms of what is happening. I am saying calm the traffic. Calm the traffic. In fact, I heard this story from, internationally they keep saying that Bogota is a great story for BRTS, Bus Rapid Transport System and Public. That is held as an ultimate example of what's the greatest. Enrique Peñalosa was the mayor who made it happen. And he had come down, in fact, Raj Cherubal may not have mentioned it, but he spoke in Chennai. And Raj was one of the people who arranged that talk. He gave a fascinating story of how he made bus transport popular in Bogota. And today it is the world's best example of BRTS. Thanks. You have any idea what he did to promote bus transport? He didn't? Let's say loudly whoever. Tell anything.
He didn't allow any new vehicles to come in.
Okay, he didn't allow new vehicles to come in. Okay, he didn't do that. Anybody else? Like Singapore, he put triple the duty on cars. No, he didn't do that.
Improve the service.
No, he did something very innovative. What he did is, take an example in Bangalore. If I take, sorry?
Entertainment on buses.
No.
Wi-Fi.
No, he didn't do that. What he did as the mayor, so let me give you the example, transferring Bogota to, if you were the mayor of Bangalore, I'm sure one of you will become the mayors in due course. What he did. So let's take, everybody knows Bishop Cotton Boys School and Residency Road. Everybody knows that place. So what he did, before school and particularly after school, he told the kids, go and play football on the streets. With one condition. He said, whenever you see a bus coming on the road, stop the game and allow the bus to go through. But when cars come, continue playing. Don't take your time. No problem. Okay. So he said, do this. So what happened which kid, any car driver is going to go over kids? Over a period of time, people said, oh my God, I'm going to Residency Road. Better not take my car. Because I'm going to get delayed by 20 minutes on the road, navigating, waiting for the kids to finish. Better take the public transport. And that is how the transition happened. So over a period of time, people started realizing that for certain sectors, and then obviously you had a good plan and all that stuff. But this I found one of the most fascinating stories of how you can drive certain behavior with leadership taking those kind of decisions. Even today, You know, I don't know whether, somebody told me only yesterday, I don't know whether it was Bogota or another place, they have car-free Sundays for the city. Almost.
China.
Not only China, this is Bogota more than China. What they do, so as a result of which, 2 million people come with their family, they come onto the streets, they're playing football, they're playing frisbee, there are eating stalls, there's a whole community experience. So what they do when they say car free is when you have 2 lanes, one lane is left for the public to use, the other lane traffic which is still wants to move will move a lot slower. It's not zero car free, but there are some innovative solutions where it will move a lot less slower, and then you have this car free kind of thing. So that's really the kind of thing that is required if you want to actually kickstart and change the game significantly. The quick things about tender sure, I need to finish this in the next 3-4 minutes. The other thing we don't do is we don't plan. We just jump into it. Oh, immediately there's a problem there, let's start tarring it, let's fill something. We need to plan at the outset before we go ahead. There's a little crowded slide, I'm not going to waste too much time on it. But essentially, what it really does in terms of, I mean, this is actually how Residency Road is going to look. This tender is already out. And in another 1.5 years, there will be all these stuff which will happen in the city centre. 7 roads are going to be done as per tender sure. We are the same people who designed the road opposite Vittal Malya, that miserable 200 meters, which I think is a good road and good footpath, everything. The idea is to take the same kind of example and do it in 10-12 kilometers. Then we are hoping that somebody in Jayanagar will say to their corporator and think, I want that kind of road. And that will put pressure for a whole new system of what we want. So essentially, that's really the kind of design that details about entry, exit and all. I don't have time to really get into it. These are some schematics on how things could get cleaned up. But essentially, there's a life cycle view to the whole thing. Tender sure says, plan the ducks, plan all this at the outset, and over a 15-year life cycle, it'll actually pay back. Today's model is to give 6 monthly contracts for asphalting, etc. So we end up paying much, much more than if you take a life cycle view. So we are pushing for that. Yeah, your question, please.
Why is it not advertised, sir? Because most of them think that, you know, that Vittal Malya road is being done or maintained by
Prestige.
Yeah.
So let me put it this way. The road was done by Prestige. The design was done by City Connect.
Okay.
So somebody had to spend money. The 7 roads that are going to happen, design is done by City Connect. The roads are being done by government. So the difference between Vittal Malya and the 7 roads is taxpayers' money. So actually the way this worked is some of us went to the government and said, we are ready to set out the standards on how roads need to be built. You know, this country doesn't have a road standard for city roads. It doesn't exist. So our whole thing was that we will go out and give you the manual, we'll give you the detailed project report. Do you promise that you will spend taxpayers' money to implement the roads? So that was the compact we got into. So City Connect spent 85 lakh rupees to do the manual and the detailed project reports from our funds. Our funds means we collected it from business saying, if we don't do this, nothing is going to happen. Now the 7 roads, I think, is costing about 80 crores across those 10 odd kilometers, which is going to get implemented. We still have to see how it gets implemented because there are still problems when you implement it. But at least a beginning has been made in this regard. Any other question on roads?
Some wards are coming under the NH, right? And how those...
No, right now we are only doing city center.
The 7.
No, these 7 is, I'm talking in the context of tender sure, only these 7 roads are the only ones. Outside of this, there are obviously other roads that are happening on NH and Outer Ring Road and all. Those challenges are there of a different kind. I don't know how many of you have gone on the Outer Ring Road. You need a double PhD to navigate that road. Every time I go, I'm wondering, should I go on top of the flyover? Should I keep to the right? Should I take to the service road? Bhala, I mean, it's one of the most difficult roads to navigate. So, I mean, that's... Yeah.
After implementing this project maintenance, there should be maintenance.
So the way the tender has been designed, the tender has been designed with the fact that these people have to maintain the road for a certain period of time. Here road cutting will come down because the BESCOM, BWSSB are part of this project from the beginning. It's not that BBMP is designing the project without BESCOM and BWSSB knowing what's happening. So all that is being planned at the outset in this project. Yeah.
In continuation to what she said, the NH roads, I think those roads need to be given more attention than the roads inside the city, because they're the total chaos on traffic.
So let me put it this way. When you say traffic, again we are going back to motorized vehicles is your definition of traffic.
I'm talking about roads. Why I'm talking about roads is we have got flyovers there, we've got a hanging bridge. I'm talking about the KR Puram junction.
Right.
We've got a hanging bridge there, and then we've got a...
See, KL Bridge and that whole area is a nightmare. The other thing which has happened there, again because of our overemphasis on motorists, I don't even know how people cross the road there.
So
I have no idea.
In Bangalore is happening there only, and if you are bringing something new to that particular kind of areas only.
No, but there I'll tell you, I'll give you the counter. It was our belief, you need something as a demonstration effect. It's a question of where do you start the demonstration effect. If I live near KR Puram, I want the demonstration effect near KR Puram. Here we took a conscious call that let's take the city center and use that as the visible example of how to do this, and then put pressure on the outskirts that this is the kind of thing that we want. Notwithstanding this, tender sure is not going to fix the kind of Krishnarajapuram, that whole area problem. Because those are large stretches. For example, you take Marathalli below there, you know, near that home store and that. There are huge development on both sides. I don't even know how people cross that road. Nobody has even given it a thought. So it's on a wing and a prayer, you put your leg and start putting your hand out and all that stuff and go. So these are very complex problems to solve because nobody who designed it in the first place thought about how will this person go to the other side. So that's part of our problems, yeah.
What's the average rate per kilometer on tender show, and who has won the contract?
Yeah, so in the case of tender show, right now the company that has won it is a company in Chennai called NAPC. NAPC actually has been in the road business in the highways, not so much in the cities, but they are a 100% subsidiary of a French firm that is a $40 billion firm. So a $40 billion French firm has chosen strategically to take this bid because they want to understand how to do urban roads in India differently. And this is the only project in the country which is different on urban roads. So they have taken a strategic decision to come and take this risk. In fact, I must tell you, when we did the first round of tendering, nobody came forward. They said, we don't want to deal with BBMP. We don't want to deal with the government. Beda. There are better things to do in life. Then what happened is, we went and talked to a lot of people and said, please come and bid. Because they are trying to change the nature of the game. And that's how this has happened.
What's the average rate per kilometer?
It is, see, in this, it depends on the, whether it's a 4-lane or a 2-lane or, you know, all that stuff. But typically, if you're looking at a 4-lane road with footpath and all that stuff, it'll be about 8 crores per kilometer. 8 to 10 crores. So it's a different level of thing. But it has all the utilities underground, the provisioning of the utilities at the outset, etc. A normal road, which is just tarred and put, is maybe 1 crore a kilometer, just to give you the sense. But that one has no drains, it has nothing. So every 6 months you're touching it again, if not 1 year. So if you take a 6-7 year view, in these roads, for example, we did Vittal Malya Road 4 years ago. It's not been touched. So when you start, that's why I mentioned the point, you have to look at it as a life cycle issue and life cycle cost realization as opposed to thing. Yeah.
In terms of stormwater drains, have you guys thought about using trees? You could plant trees and stormwater mitigation.
Yeah. So we haven't thought of that. What we are actually experimenting in these roads is cylindrical drains instead of the shoulder drains because the friction is less for the flow. It has some challenges. Our problem is something else. You know, we also have people who are very particular about the environment. We already have a fair amount of trees. One of our problems why the pedestrian does not get a smooth walking experience is trees are all over the place. But we are building these roads trying not to disturb the trees. But as far as your point is concerned, from the asphalt, we need a sloping thing which takes it into the drain and takes it out. We have got soak pits along the way. So the drain will have drilled holes where the water will go into the soak pit, so that it goes into and recharges the groundwater, etc. So all the water doesn't have to be carried over long distances. So that's the kind of thinking that's happening here. Okay, because I just have another 10 minutes. So my last thing really is about raising resources. I spoke briefly about self-assessment scheme. I'm sure Jairaj has already spoken about it. Very, very quickly I'll go through it. You see, in pre-2000, that was when it was designed, we had a system by which the power was in the hands of the revenue officer. So a revenue officer used to come to your house and say, that is looking like marble, Italian marble jade there. You know, they'll take all those views into account and say, your tax, property tax you have to pay is 10,000 rupees. You say, oh, 10,000, not possible, sir. And then the revenue officer says, Martini, we'll look at it. And then he will fix your property tax at 3,000 rupees and show you he has saved you 7,000 rupees per year. In 5 years, he says,